Hello, and welcome to today's video on major triads in root position. At this point, if you have not watched the previous videos on intervals or key signatures, I recommend that you take a moment to watch those videos now, as it is important to have a solid understanding of those concepts before beginning major triads. We are looking at major triads today as our first step towards understanding chords. A chord is three or more notes that are played at the same time, or at least are heard as if they were sounded at the same time. A triad is a chord made up of exactly three notes that can be stacked in thirds. Those three notes are the root of the chord, the third, and the fifth. The root of the chord is the note that the chord is built on, and it is also the note that we typically name the triad after. If we are looking at a C major triad, the root would be a C. It is not always the bottom note in music. However, it is the bottom note of a triad when we are in root position. In fact, root position means that the root is the bottom note. If a triad is made up of a root, a third, and a fifth, then a major triad is specifically made up of a root, a note that is a major third above that root, and a note that is a perfect fifth above that root. And it sounds like this. Let's take a moment to look at a couple examples. The first example we are going to look at is a C major triad. We know that a triad takes its name from the root. So the root of a C major triad would be a C. We also know that when dealing with triads in root position, the lowest note of the triad will be the root. So it makes sense when we look at this first example that the lowest note of the C major triad is a C. We can then build that triad up from the root. Going up a major third from a C, we have an E. Going up a perfect fifth from the root, we get a G. Together, the three notes form a C major triad. Our next example will be an F major triad. The root of an F major triad is an F. If we look at this example and we know that we are in root position, we can see that the F is the lowest note of the chord. We can then build up from that root, going up a major third to an A, and going up a perfect fifth to a C to create our major triad, keeping in mind that we are always building up from the root. The final example we will look at today is a D major triad. The root of a D major triad is a D, and when in root position, the lowest note of a triad will be the root. So when we look at this one, we can see that the D is the lowest note, and we build up from the D a major third to an F sharp, which we have to be careful because a major third from a D going upwards is an F sharp, and then we build up a perfect fifth to the A, completing our major triad.